Uh, these are. Let me see. Talk about Jesus is actually ISIS.
All you got to do is go back to the Greek. If you go back to the Greek, the spelling for the word that they translating as Jesus is Iesous. In the Greek pronunciation, the capital I automatically silences the E, goes hard on the S, silences the O, go hard on the US. It's ISIS. One language back. That's all you got to do.
All right, we're gonna take one more question, then I'm gonna let these gentlemen close it out. Who was the first to actually civilize the white man?
The white man. The white man ain't white, first off. And at some point in time, all people have decided to live what we would consider in this day and time a savage lifestyle. But Mother Nature does that for a reason. Everything she do is for a reason, but we don't always understand it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with that. I'm trying to see if there's all right, well, this is the last one. Last one. Who were the Washita Moors? What about the Empire Washita de Mundia? I hope I'm saying that.
Yeah, so that translates as the empire of the Washita mound builders. And the Washita Moors was restored under Empress Tierra Verdiasi Gostinel Bay, and she served them eviction off the tribal lands in Louisiana, right? So they try to keep that silent because they don't want us to know that we had already began reclaiming our. She did it off the treaties they violated, right? Well, we passed that now. They never honored their treaty. So because they never honored a single treaty and they wrote them all, they forfeit. Because they forfeit, they automatically have to get the fuck gone, right? So the Washita is what you call a grand family, which means that there's a series of families that fall under the Washita Nation of Moors. And these are all different tribes, and they all have what you call a confederation, and they have a listing or a family book or book of life where all of the tribal leaders that came together to support the Washitas reclaiming the land, they were all recorded. So the Midwest representative for that Washita Moors was at one point Ravana Bay. I'm not sure who it is now. And she had ambassadors dispatched all over the land. She was also associated with the United Nubian Nation of Moors. They had an affiliation with them, right? And then she had another allegiance with a bigger group called the Collective Indigenous Nations of the Land. So all these different groups came together. They all tribes. They on her roll because she had the blood and the right to make the call, and they back her play. And that's what we supposed to be doing right now with restoring the kings to the land to raise the matriarchs.
What is a Skywalker?
The Skywalkers, those are the men who draw their power from the upper atmosphere. Um, Tuki would be classified as a Skywalker. He's represented by the walking lightning, that they call the Crooked Man, right? So he would be classified as a Skywalker. But in the military, now Skywalkers in modern times are those who build high rise buildings and walk the rafters at the top, those who do trapezes, walking tight ropes. Those are all Skywalkers in modern times. But the Skywalkers were tribes that were fearless of the heights and that would use mountainous regions to build civilizations on, like Machu Picchu, right? And when the Chinese man recognized Tookie and called him Crip, 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 he was giving him the Chinese key to the Crooked Man. And over there, they call the Crooked Man Crip, Crip, Crip in China.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that it's an English word, Crip,
Mm.
you know. So Tukey was identified by the Asians as the Crooked Man. We got an allegiance in our community with the Asians who were railroad builders in the Southwest. And the allegiance is why you have so many of us with the name Lee in our name. My auntie name is Verdi Lee. My uncle named Henry Lee. My father named Arthur Lee. Right? I got a cousin named Bobby Lee. The Lee is the from the agreement we made with the clans that came from Asia. So this is so we will always be connected. So you know him, Jimmy Lee, all them Lees.
Dang, wow, this is stuff I never heard before. This is some
Yeah, man.
interesting. This is some interesting.
He has a wonderful way of putting things into perspective. I do, before we do exit this evening, wanted to know, like, what do you think the magnetism of those areas, Illinois, Missouri, was for melanated people who migrated from the South? Why did all roads lead to those areas in the Midwest, Ohio, where the legend of the Ohio Giants come from? One of the main things I want to just posit real quick, that region of the planet that they were saying in ancient times, or older days or what have you, Ohio was the breadbasket of, it was the greenest part of America because the ionization of the atmosphere. They say that the tribes there knew how to do the dances, in particular to make the thunder and the lightning activate. So that's where the vegetation came from. Hence the fact that Ohio has the largest amount of biodiversity, and that's where the sea banks are at as well. So why do you think that our people, in particular, gravitated towards those regions?
We go to Chicago is not no. They tell us Chicago was founded by Jean Baptiste du Sable, John the Black Baptist. This can't be true because in our culture, we knew Chicago to be an ancient metropolis. Where Cook County sit is where the doula center, what we would call a grand doula center. It was the biggest doula center in the Midwest, and this is where the certain women would go to have their children. They turned it into a county hospital, right there, Cook County Hospital on the west side of Chicago. And they would use the map, I mean the calendar, the stars positioning to determine when the kings would be born. And there's certain cities. It's Chicago, it's Detroit, it's New York, Miami, New Orleans, Atlanta, Los Angeles. Um, it's a few more of them, but these were all metropolises where
Memphis.
they had doula centers for the chieftains of the land to be born with special care when they was born. Like they didn't allow them to be born with spotlights in their face, right? They would be born in what they call ambient lit room with candlelight. Why would they do that? Because the old souls, the bright lights jars the memory, and it makes it where they won't be able to draw back their memory until they up in age. They won't remember who they is until years later from that flash of bright light when they come out. Right? It does the same thing to them at birth that flasher does in Men in Black.
Mm.
Erases their memory of their past lives.
Mm.
So this is why your children have to be born under spotlights,
Mm.
right? They're supposed to be born if possible, you give birth with the woman in the seated position, squatted in the water. That's the best way, and most doulas do it that way. It's easier on the body of the woman, and it's easier on the psyche of the child. Another thing is you don't cut the umbilical cord immediately. You first have to let the mother-baby bonding process take place. While the baby suckle, the mother look him in his eyes. They don't allow that to happen in the hospital. They snatch the baby, slap him on the ass, and rush him off to the nursery. Right? That way they can never
and
properly pair
hit them
bond in order to get that connection they
hit
need.
them with the fructose water, right? To get them
Yep,
bound and binded to that sugar addiction from the gate.
yep. So
Bro,
these cities were metropolises for the. Anytime the Chiefs come back, they coming back to one of them cities. Right now, it's more Chiefs from the land born in New York than anywhere else because that's where the dirt went down. That's when they came in and started laying their conjures down from New York. They got their gated community of Negroes, conquistadors in upstate New York, where they got us thinking that ain't no motherfuckers that look like us ever been rich over here. And them motherfuckers been rich the whole time. I know the works and the tribulation of those who say they are rich. I mean, they are poor, but they rich. Those who say they are Jews, but are the synagogue of Satan. This what they talking about.
mm.
They run around, they come around us like they broke, asking us for cigarettes and can I get a drink and exploiting our good nature just because they can. Then
Mm.
they go back up to their gated communities and act like we don't exist.
Hey Rob, before we get out here, I want my people to show you some support for your time, energy, and the knowledge that you gave today. What's your cash app, brother? I want to put it in the
Uh, it's a dollar sign, capital S,
uh,
lowercase I, lowercase K,
uh,
capital A, lowercase P, lowercase E.
I just put it in the chat. Make sure y'all support this brother, man. This is a wonderful conversation. I see we got about 1,400 people in the chat right now. You know, I want all 1,400 of y'all to, so we like the video, do something, but show support, man. You ain't getting this shit on other platforms, or, on mainstream TV. So, show the love, family. Show the love. I did want to get to one. I keep saying last question, but that's how you know when something's good. I just keep going. But I do want to just give you just one last question from somebody in the chat. I didn't see them post it, and where is it at? Well, I don't. Okay, yeah. Will the Galactic Federation meet with Larry Hoover? I've been
It's,
hearing people. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So the Galactic Federation, the message that I was given that I translated said they want to see Larry Hoover and they don't want to talk to nobody else, right? Because I solved the riddle. He my chief. Therefore, they want to see my leader. I can't send them Biden. I gotta send them Larry. That's my chief. I can't send them nobody else. How they gonna meet him? Where they gonna meet him? I don't know. I don't know how it's go. The I don't know the intricacies of it like that. I'm just going by the science they gave,
Mm.
right, and what they told me what the instructions was, right. So the government agreed to produce them when a certain amount of people stop supporting the old system and start pushing this agenda. So they gonna meet with them. It's just a matter of when. It's up to us. This stuff's supposed to be over. We the ones holding it up because we keep supporting the old dead system and we not supporting our own people in their quest to reclaim what's rightfully theirs by the laws of nature.
Leave your contact information, both of y'all, man. We getting out of here. Leave your contact information so the people can get in touch with y'all.
Well, I ain't hard to find. They can find me on Instagram, Rod Hayes. I'm in Facebook jail on Facebook right now, but I'm Rod Hayes on Facebook. My current profile picture is a UFO My, it's probably the same on
Man, you told
Instagram.
me you was from Earth, man. Now you got UFOs, man.
Hey, look, I focus on Earth because I'm from the Earth. But it don't mean I don't communicate with people that ain't from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes I don't even know they ain't from Earth
Mm-hmm.
until they tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, um, the messages sometimes come from other tribes on the land. I
Mm-hmm.
still translate them. I don't care if they come from the tribes of the land or the tribes on the stars.
Mm-hmm.
When the message,
Now I gotta take my hat off to the chief. Chief party at.
well, you ain't got no regular hat, so you ain't got to take that one off.
How you doing, OJ?
Oh man, you know me. I don't got nothing to complain about except I ain't got nothing to complain about.
I say.
You know, I
Yo,
can't. This is the first time I'd have been live on Instagram in a minute.
oh man, I'm just putting some stuff out here because a lot of chiefs been hitting me up and asking me about different little topics, and I wanted to bring them to you. I even brought the book, when court's in session. uh, I've been doing my little research and wanted to bring some stuff to the tribe that I've been stepping across. Yo pay po yo te fe te fe ta yo pay. So yeah, that's something that they found on the OMAC on top of the OMAC heads on top of
Translate it.
yeah. So and I come to find out this is from another deity called Yo Pay Yo Pay. So
Hey,
I'm just studying. I've been tapping into this right here. You already
and
know
you know what,
everything.
Stone? While you studying that, they got these archaeologists were showing Mayan um, symbols in Egypt, not over here in Kemet, over in northwest Africa or northeast Africa in the pyramids. They showing the same exact shit that's painted in caves. I mean, not in caves, in the temples in Mesoamerica is also present in ancient Kemet.
I
And
say
now they in what you call a conundrum. They didn't paint themselves in the corner that they can't get out of. This go for your foundational Black Americans, your African Americans, your ancient Egyptologists, your out of Africa theorists, right?
mm-hmm.
Why do we put them in a conundrum? Because now they got to explain who put the ancient Mesoamerican symbolism into the Egyptian writings. They got to come up with an excuse. Since Africa was first and everybody came out of Africa, which is actually the reverse of the truth. When they was showing the Great Migration map, you know, they show everybody coming out of Africa, um, primarily in Eastern Africa, the area known as Kenya. And they used to verify, support, and sustain that archaeological discovery in the Oduwa Gorge of something called Lucy. Now, Lucy was not Homo erectus. Lucy was not Homo sapien. Lucy was not even a Neanderthal. Lucy was something called proconsul, a whole different genetic stock of biped hominids on the planet that, and then they haven't been able to, because of it, they carbon date Lucy's bones at 3.5 million years old. That's yesterday in our clock, but today clock, that's beyond antiquity,
I say.
right? So they use that in something called the Bell's curve in order to justify the out of Africa theory. We ain't just out of Africa, we out of Earth. Wherever
We
Earth got land, we was
I say
there. But we don't all got the same daddy, but we can all trace back to one mother. Let that sink in. Every what we call human being on the planet, they cannot trace back to one father. but they can all trace back to one mother. Science call her primordial Eve, mitochondrial Eve, because you trace the motherland through the mitochondria, you trace the fatherland through the Y chromosome. When you get to the 60,000 year mark, you start erasing Y chromosomes. Now, there's no Y chromosome, only one right now. At 60,000 years ago, there's one Y chromosome. I mean, there's one man producing the offspring with the women, right? Now, the. He always call when I'm in the middle of something. I'm going to call him when I get done. But look, they had to come
Your
to
phone went
a consensus.
down a little bit.
Let me go out and come back in.
But no problem. Go ahead.
Where was I at?
We were talking about the rhDNA. You were talking about the mother, one mother, the first mothers.
Yeah.
But
Okay, now, the largest percentage of Y chromosome males descend from Genghis Khan on Earth. Now we're talking about Y chromosomal haplogroups, right? The Ainu in Japan do not have the same Y chromosome haplogroup as regular Japanese people. That means they don't come from the same fatherland. But if you trace mitochondrially, the modern Japanese people got the same mitochondrial DNA as the Ainu. So we could trace everybody on Earth could trace back to one mother. I don't care what your so-called race,
I was
ethnicity,
about to hit him.
bloodline.
I was about to hit him with the receipts. The Chi dynasty, the Chi people is four different dynasties that ran north, south, east, west. One of the first Chi dynasties, and we reading the scriptures when they say Thoth is going. We're not listening to the scripture. They say Thoth wasn't from Egypt. He went to Egypt, but he came from what they would call Atlantis or whatever name they try to put on move Atlantis and everything else, right?
It's called the Great Atlan back then. In the writings of the thought, it's called Atlan, Atlan.
The catchphrase was he's not from Egypt. He was from over this way somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that was dope. And then they just found this pyramid and this structure on the coast of Cuba, and it got
One of them.
Olmec symbols on that too. So yeah, oh yeah.
One of
So
them.
and keep going. I'm just letting you know you come because I was talking about this. I was gonna bring that up, but you on it already.
Okay, now, so while we watching the stage show, the political satire, politics is something called satire. It's a form of theater, right? But theater is called Hollywood in modern times. What they gave us for the Bible was a theatrical interpretation of pyramid text. The philosophical interpretation was given in the first century by the first century philosopher named Origen. Origen was a Gnostic writer between like 12 BC to like 60 AD, roughly. I don't have, that's not the exact dates, but it's that time frame. He was a contemporary to Cleopatra. He was a Greek temple priest that went to Kemet to be educated, and then he began to write his philosophical understanding in for antiquity. Remember, back then, less than 1% of people could read and write. Let that sink in.
I see.
Everybody back then that knew how to read and write was under the well orchestrated control of the temple priests.
You good, Chief?
But anyway, we get to talk about a lot of this stuff today.
Yes, sir. Man, I had a couple topics. Like I said, you jumped straight into it. That was going into. I was going to read some of these names out that they they contradict themselves, and we got to get out the habit of just listening to anything these people say. But they contradicting themselves because one second they say they have no written language, But then the next day they say that we gave them language, that there was the mother culture, right? I'm studying it, and it goes back to I'm gonna give you the exact languages to go to. Po two, pure one, obedient to the law. Ta ta two jaguar paw, one who is the supporter of the mystic order and obedient to the law. Po B, one pure. Po Buffet, two jaguar paw, and it's just breaking these names down. It's on the top of they kufis. You feel me? It's breaking down. It's breaking it down in so many different ways that they'll try to cover up, and they hoping you're not reading and paying attention to these symbols, but they answers put it right there in our face. They covered it up. They try to hide it and destroy the noses, and that's another telltale sign. But they telling you who they are because what they just read off was if you're familiar with like you always say the Congo, right? The Congo is the Mississippi River, right? And their Congo, everything is the same. It's a mirror reflection. Their
There
temple
you
is a
go.
python in Dahomey over there is our temple of the Python of Quetzalcoatl here. And I don't know how, or like their biggest thing is divide everything and make us hate ourselves. But it's there was that stonework right there. There's the scrolls, and they'll argue with that. They'll look at they have these notes, and then they'll turn around and disregard everything they say. They say, how did they build a pyramid? They said Le Mbe, one who erect existence, erected stone deities. They say that in every culture, every religion, that stone or Nephilim, they literally break this down in the Pole Vuh and all these different things, and they refuse to look at that, and they'll even disrespect their own God, refusing to acknowledge that all their gods were black. Quetzalcoatl, Cocopele, to name a few of them, but all their deities down there, their origins are black, but yet they'll disrespect their own God. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
But the Chi dynasty goes from a place, I think Dahomey, Egypt, Mexico, Chi dynasty, because they're not calling themselves Olmec back then. It's Xi. Chi. It's pronounced Chi.
G,
Yeah,
G,
Chi dynasty in
G,
China.
G.
Yeah, the Chi. You know what I'm saying? They got statues of these brothers meditating, doing yoga, doing all these amazing things, and they covered all that up. Every single one of them Olmec statues have braids and locks, and they only show you what they want to show y'all. They're literally like trying to repurpose creation and time and everything, and it ain't that deep. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but now we you got a cell phone. We can look up anything. We can call the museums and get them to fax you anything. You see what I'm saying? They're giving us the symbols, and those symbols are the same. El Rey, the king, so you don't think I'm playing? It just says the Popo Vu right here. His name's El Rey. We're talking about Mansa Abukari.
Do
The
you remember? Do you remember? I did a couple shows, and I was like, when we see somebody and they name Ray Ray or Sunny Boy or Sun
yeah,
Sun, them baby chiefs.
right
Just,
now, Ray
just
Ray.
read their name again in the translation of it.
This is now. What I'm reading are the symbols that are the hieroglyphs, or they don't call them hieroglyphs, but the texts that are similar to hieroglyphs that are on the kufis or wave caps of
Right, but
these
it's the
Olmec.
name you read it
The
in
first
the
one, his name's El Rey, the king.
right.
They got
Now,
several ones called, huh?
all, now El Rey, the king, it ties back into the reason why we name our sons Ray, right? Uh, Raymond mean the king of the mountain. It's literally a two-syllable word, Ray and mound.
See, you catching me? I was about to get on to that next because it's leading into that. It was about to lead into the pyramids under the water, the whole pyramid wars. Go ahead.
Okay, now you mentioned the pyramids under the water. I'm just gonna say Saint Bernard Parish, and then I'm gonna do like that brother say, look it up.
Yes, sir. Say it one more time.
It's Saint Bernard Parish,
That's Louisiana.
New
There we go.
Orleans. It's the part of New Orleans that's no longer above water. I can show you better than I can tell
Okay.
you. You know I can show you.
I'm I'm letting you go because we got receipts. They got pyramid structures off the coast of Cuba up under the water with the same symbols of the Olmec that they date to 50,000 years. It had to be 50,000 years beforehand. So if you're saying, and we know that the Olmec or the so-called Z people weren't from there because they're saying that they were different from the other people in that region. So it's not to say that the Aztecs weren't there and all these other people weren't there, because they're literally saying they're doing business with other people. They're traders. They're doing business and trade and doing different rituals for these people. But they literally tell them one of them's name is Yope, Master of Snakes. Again, I'm going. It keep on bringing me back to when you illiterate, it ain't got nothing to do about reading their books. It's talking about reading all these different.
All right. When did the Christians come over here?
Uh,
They came with Columbus, right?
I mean, yeah, 1492.
Okay, now 12,000 years ago, they saying that this city sunk, but don't no Christians get here until 1492. That means for about 11 and a half thousand years, nobody should have seen that landmass, right? According to what they're saying,
I was about to get
right?
yeah.
So why do they got church steeples sticking out the water with the cross on it?
Come to find out, that's one of our symbols. That's one of our. Come to find out, the ancient cross thing, the serpent symbol. When you said that's why I threw out there about the pyramids, I was gonna lead to. I'm saying their names because I think it's beautiful. I just got up on the names. But the pyramid, the energy conductors, we got them all over the coast of Florida. I'm in Tallahassee. The pyramids are all throughout Florida,
Okay,
right?
but no matter how you cut it, they have to explain that away.
And they can't. And it not only that, the connection between all these places with the Olmec. We got a pyramid out here in Turkish Scratch. They know had connections with the Olmec, but they don't talk about it. Just like you
Okay,
said,
so
the old Mississippian culture.
yeah. Now the old Mississippians is the Olmecs. They are the Inca. They are the Maya, right? They got offspring like the Arawak and the Shoshone and the Shada and the Iroquois and the Washita. All those are offshoot tribes. The main root tribe, if you go and look at the map, right, and you look at the Mississippi Delta, the Louisiana Basin, where the water drained into the Gulf, right? You have a mirror of that in the South, coming out of the Amazon, right? We got villages, monkey villages, to them the same Zinji, the same Ninji, the same niggas, the old Mississippians, because we wrapped around,
They got it.
right, the fertile crescent of the Gulf. But what we don't know is where the Gulf is. The reason the Gulf is there is the same reason the Mediterranean there during the Anunnaki Wars. They say it was a meteorite. It was a fucking bomb. And it was filled in by the excess water. After you bomb it, you create a crater, right?
Mm-hmm.
The crater fills in with water because it's below sea level. As the crater fills in with water, it forms into the Gulf in
Just
order for you. Yeah. So they want us to believe that stuff is just poofed there because it wasn't us. Can't tell me that. I remember doing the design for some of them buildings. So you can't tell me that we didn't have nothing to do with it. I remember designing it.
just on some Pastor Troy thing, right? When he said everything was vice versa. If it is their technology, like those people that are down there now says their technology, why aren't they maintaining it and why aren't they using it? That's the telltale. That's
Okay.
the same Egyptians.
Go.
The Egyptians say that's their technology, but they're the ones blowing it up because they are Al Akbar, right? And Al Akbar say no idols. So there was never a time, like you said, that could be their stuff or their technology when their dean says destroy it all. That's what they do. They destroy the noses, they destroy the face because it's not theirs. They disrespect it. If that was if that is theirs and it was out there, they would be out there. You know what I'm saying? Still doing all that shit right now. You see what I'm saying? If it was if the people that's down there now, the Mongolians is down there now. If those pyramids was theirs, why aren't they living in that inhabited right now
You
and
just
enjoying?
said a key word. You said Mongolians, right? Do you know the what Genghis Khan was?
I don't know what war it was, but
This
there's been times where they've sent
this is important to know though.
get them.
Remember, I said 60% of all of the males Y chromosome come from Genghis
Oh,
Khan. That's active. That even include over here. They got a map. You can pull up a Genghis Khan's Y chromosome map, and they'll show you percentage of his seed in every land. That means that he was either marrying people from them lands or he sent children out into them lands to marry people, sons
man.
specifically.
And both.
Because you have to, because he's only spreading his Y chromosome, right? This is he's a major figure in the Earth's history. They said he had over 5,000 children, right? He had more than that because they didn't count children by concubines and maidservants. They only counted the ones by harem wives with tenure. They didn't count them other little brats, but they still got his genes,
Facts.
right? So now when we're looking at the Y chromosomes across the land, we're looking at how it's spread, right? Then it starts to click. We begin to see it clearer. They told us the story in reverse because they told us that if you go look at the history of the Romans and who they was fighting, they fought Ottomans during the Turkish uprising, right? And the establishment of Turkey. They fighting with Rome. That's who their enemy was. The Northeast Africa is was all part of Ethiopia. What we call today Iraq, Iran, Syria, Pakistan, all the way into India. India was what they call East Ethiopia. It's just like Florida is the east land of flowers, Louisiana is the western land of flowers. By the way, Chief Warhorse dropped a major video. Y'all gotta see it, share it on her channel. She declared victory for the China Nation. And if she declare victory, that means all chiefs across the land can celebrate her victory and declare victory following her lead.
I say.
She also separated herself from New Orleans by paperwork because the China Nation had dual citizenship. She is the certified seven in the line blood chief, right? So when she giving this, she's doing for her tribe, but if it's righteous and it's successful, we all get to use it.
I say.
So if she declare victory, we all could declare victory. But you have to know what she's telling you in the video because she's not just declaring victory in vain. The victory is supported by the members of the local government and the old fallen federal government. They acknowledged her heritable right tracing back, I think they said 12,000 years. They acknowledged it through the government, which also is the leverage up to Empress Verdiasi's claim. So now you got two tribal mothers with tenure and fighting for their tribe, tried, tested, and proven, and the enemy that admitted that these sisters was right. Now all tribal leaders that's understanding of what's going on can use that. Now, what are we supposed to do? All we supposed to do as the Braves, the membership of the clan, is to share it, share it, share it, share it, and share it, and get other people to understand what it means to the tribes. F what it means to the community at large. We don't care about their feelings. They didn't care about ours. We don't care if they get stepped on. We have to get back to what's ours. And what's ours is, as Elijah Muhammad say, be your own, accept your own, and be yourself. Right? And we don't have to negotiate, debate, and try to convince non-tribal members or supporters of our position. They gonna see in their eyes when it all play out. As Tupac say, all eyes on me, I say y'all eyes gonna see. When we understand what's taking place, right? Because most of us don't get it. We think we get it, and we still trying to prove the fraud. That stuff is right now. We done proving
Facts.
everything. We didn't prove it.
Facts.
We didn't show you where the lying liars signed the names to the lies that they told. We showed you why they confessed that they was telling the lie, trying to cover up a piece of the truth. This is why she talking about the situation with Andrew Jackson in the video, right? Andrew Jackson was instrumental in the Dawes role and the Trail of Tears directly. His name, because he had handlers, but his name carried that dirt, right? So the tribes that fought the system in the system kept the paper trail for the ones that was fighting the system outside the system that was classified by the system as the criminal element. You become the criminal element when you're not part of the invading force that's invading your farm. The invader got to declare you as the hostile in order to trick your tribesmen into believing that they doing what the rest of the tribes want them to do when they ain't got nothing to do with us. So they came in with their old Mutt and Jeff routine, good cop, bad cop. They send the good guys in that look like us, which was really the bad guys. And then they sent the bad guys in that didn't look like us, which was really just the pawns. We begin to believe, because the pawns kept the history in the forefront, that the pawns was the power players. We ain't ever seen the pawn be the power player on the chessboard.
When it becomes queen or hits the other side of the board,
I mean, he got to cross the finish line, then he
gotta
can
cross the
come
finish
back for everybody
line.
else. But when he come across that finish line, he got the option to become whatever player on the board is needed in order to help the rest of them get across the finish line.
I say, chess.
Okay, now, King Arthur's sword. You remember that story? Okay. If you pull up the image of King Arthur's sword sticking out of the rock, it's at an angle. If you look at the cross in the stone called Mount Calvary, right? A lot of the churches have the same slant to the cross. The cross is a sword of war in the ground because the war was waged against the great mother of the earth. That great dragon we call Tiamat. Tiamat is actually the Kundalini energy that encompasses the world as the great serpent, the serpent energy, that serpentine fire, right? Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
There's two elements missing.
Water and well, I know water off top. What's the next one?
Ether.
Ether.
Okay. The ether is the chemical composition of accumulated love energy, referred to as or energy. In the or energy, Dr. Delbert Blair reference, go check him out talking about the or energy, is the original energy extracted from what's known as the primordial noon or the sacred waters of the womb of creation, right? The human being reenact the holy drama in order to change power from the unworthy to the worthy, right? So the great Tiamat, that great beast, the Kundalini of the earth, is going to tag, right? It's a game of tag now with all of the divine matriarchs, all the way till you get to the one who holds the blood right to sit on the sacerdotal seat of the earth as the acting and reigning Isis. A lot of sisters be frustrated because they think that they ISIS due to the Sybil effect, but they works and they deeds don't open the path according to the quantum of blood and mitochondrial positioning of the clans to seek them. That don't mean they're not great women. Everybody want to be the one until the one show themselves, and now everybody envious because they thought they was gonna be the one,
I see.
right? So if you when you understand the old culture and the old ways, a lot of this modern stuff just fall off like a snake shedding the skin.
Yo, I'm about to hit you. Like I said, you really just jumped on my paper, and I was like about to ask you half of this stuff. Just to let you know, we will be taking questions. I don't want to cut him while he's like dropping it on us because sometimes you don't want to miss it. So we will take your questions in a minute because it is some people in the comments that I do want to address. But everything you just said was spot on. Even when it gets to the serpent aspect of it, when somebody said something about the idol thing, the funny thing about it is the Nagu, the Naga. Nagu is one of these Olmec heads. Also, when it starts breaking down verses of the Jaguar elite status, that's the status of it, right? And no, it's not idol worship per se. It's literally telling you what these people were doing. So you
Hey,
can't be like prove it, and then when it proves it, they be like, it was now it's idols. No, this was how we communicated, and this is how we always communicated.
listen,
So, and check this out. You spoke on the serpent, John 3:4, Luke 3. This is several times in the Bible when God told Moses that he sent the dragon down here to punish the non-believer, and then told Moses to create a bronze serpent, and he said to cure you, you can touch this bronze serpent. So this is in your Bible, your Quran, your Torah. This is also in every the serpent's wisdom. Like this is the whole time. The name of the game is to divide us and keep us from even learning. They think that oh you worshiping an idol because you learned about something. How can I tell you the truth? We learned we learned the shit they taught us in the Quran. We learned the shit they taught
listen.
us in the Bible. So why not learn what they talking about? You see what I'm saying?
No,
And once you learn that the language that they're using is actually from a Twa. They got Twa civilization down there. The Twa people are not just also a Congo Bantu languages, and this is under the sound information of Cloud Winters. He's the author. Cloud Winters he's a good brother. I want to see if I can get y'all up there together because you and Cloud would kill that. And I also want to do a little honorable mention real quick before we get back started. Please check out Vicky Dillard and Dr. Pruitt because they're giving us a lot of information on a lot of different things too.
no,
So, but
Vicky,
yeah,
both of them, my girl. I
I know,
love both of them.
I know it. I just had to throw it out there because it's not enough of us putting information out there. It's not. We got a lot of people right now that want the spot so bad they'll resort to the same tactics, the same weird tactics that let's start beef in the community. Let's start drama in the community, and we ain't got to do that. Let your talent speak. Let your work speak for yourself because if we saying that this is what we are, they're telling you one who is the supporter of the mystic order, obedient to the law. The law said we got to conduct ourselves a little bit better than we're doing instead of talking like you got these little weird dudes out here talking bad about Rashid Jamal. He falling. Hadith say you don't never kick a man while he's down. You don't never talk against your brother while he messed up. You got people talking down against
Hey,
Bobby Hemmett, and it's
listen, hold on,
weird.
hold on, hold on, hold on. So pump the brakes. you are in the position to kick somebody, you gotta remember when you gonna kick somebody while they down, it's a good chance you're gonna slip, fall, and bust your own ass. Right? You gotta always remember, Bookman, you always been overprotective of Tucson. Anybody say something about him gonna automatically stir your ires because you have to be triggered emotionally for the resurgence of the Haitian revolutionary return, which is going to become the Haitian or Haiti evolutionary return. Y'all turning the energy around. He need opposition right now. He don't want it, but he need it. Why do he need it? He's breaking from under the control of the government war with the French on the Louisiana territory. He needs somebody to beat him in public to draw the attention back to him.
I say,
And everything that look like it ain't for you don't mean you can't benefit from it.
facts.
I'm watching what's playing out, so I'm not saying that because
Bet.
I understand the game, right? And if you are falsely accusing somebody from a place of ignorance, the only thing that you need to have in order for you to serve is the energy of love. If you're doing it from a place of love, whether it's for somebody you love or a principle you stand on or a value you hold dear, long as you're doing it out of love, you can be misguided. That's part of life, right? You are not punished for what you do out of love. You only punished for what you do out of hate, envy, and deceit. Anything you do out of love, nature's going to find a way to use it for the greatest good of the collective.
I say,
And a lot of the warriors don't know where to fight at because our enemy is hidden in plain sight. And then when we start realizing that the enemy look like us, but they ain't us, make us become suspicious of us.
man, look,
But if you know how to read tribal war dance, where sometimes you have to get flogged to bring attention to your plight. And just because you getting flogged, it don't mean you was wrong. And it don't mean you was right.
I say,
But it mean that you was necessary for the moment to get this flogging so these people can understand that your situation, when they look into it, it ain't what other people think.
and I
Then they
say,
start seeing the whole setup when they go back and look at what's already in the public domain.
I say for real, if we gonna be about order and obedient, like all this other stuff, we can't be hypocrites. If we saying that you're standing on those Morse principles or any of those principles that we say, you can't be a hypocrite at all. And the hypocrite part is bless gospel of Barnabas. Blessed is he who learned how to walk by watching somebody else fall. Blessed is he who learned how to walk by watching somebody else fall, not kicking right down or backbite, because those are things that in Sharia or in the Sharia you could be punished by, right? So when you speak on master teachers, when you speak on certain people, and to make like right now, people are getting paid for views, so they'll say anything. But it's so much intelligent shit to talk about. It's so much shit you could be fighting against or fighting for than to put further kick down your brother. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you see that this is the year of the serpent, like Jesus said
Okay.
wise as a serpent.
It's the year of the serpent, right? Serpent is a symbol for wisdom.
Yeah,
In the age of Aquarius, would all things be made known, right? We leave in the age of illusion, which was the age of believe it because somebody said it, don't check it out.
I see.
Don't be, look, if you don't got no opposition, you're going the wrong way. And sometimes your brother got to trip you to keep you from going the wrong way because you don't want to listen. But the obstacle is the way. If you go in the right way, you're going to experience some pushback. If you it, the enemy not gonna never stop you when he know you going the wrong
I
way.
see.
So if you going the right way, he gonna put every obstacle in your path, and sometimes he gonna use the ones closest to you to do it. It's your noble nature that's gonna override the negative thrown at you, and that's how you gonna come out on that golden horse of truth.
I see.
Let, let a motherfucker throw stones at your house. Just hope he don't live in the glass one,
I see.
right? Because everybody that throws stones gonna get stones thrown back. And if you don't believe me, ask Angel Bay.
I see.
And, and the people that thought they broke in and had their feet up on your couch, figured they was just gonna move in. This is eviction time. So remember, you gotta have a series of events that paves your path back home in order for you to complete your mission. Your mission not complete till you get back home. Let that sink in,
I see.
right? Once you get back home, now you can deal with everything from a place of comfort and perspective now. You don't know that you have opposition in your circle until you in a condition or position where the opposition shows its head, right? We watch leaders rise, but we don't never see the people closest to them as they saboteurs. We see them as their support system, and their support system got what's called a weak beam. It's an infiltrator in there,
I see.
right? So go back to why Farrakhan did not stop Wallace Muhammad from decentralizing the Nation of Islam before he come back several years later and start to rebuild it. Why he ain't stop him? Why he ain't just pick up and be like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we not finna decentralize nothing. Because they would have listened to him back then, but there was a problem. He had to get the infiltrators out.
I see.
And
And it's all.
then rebuild the whole nation back to its original glory, minus the infiltrators. And if they in there, don't worry about it because we know who they is. We gonna put them in a position where they hang themselves. You know, everybody is not playing the game on the same level. And very, very few people. I can only name about 5 people playing on Elijah Muhammad level in the history of America.
You know, it's funny, G. Sister Jada called me today, and she wanted to go on with brother Roosevelt, and we were going to talk about a lot of that stuff. They want to hit you up too, but they most definitely want to talk about it on the hidden keys and shit that was going on, and looking at shit from hindsight now into certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. When I was about to break down the DNA and the con, you had already broke down the whole that already. Next, I want to talk. What about the Queen Khalifa thing? What you got on this Queen Khalifa, man? There's a lot of information coming out about the Queen. The land is being cleansed over there, however they want to look at it, or however they think they control something, they don't control something. But the Queen is cleaning those lands, and we're talking about minerals and everything else. They're talking about making a smart city in place of those houses they burned, not to mention the evidence they burned. What's your take on the Queen Khalifa and those and the fires and stuff going on over there?
So the Califia Queens wasn't one person. It was a provincial leadership that had 5 women as the mothers, right? And each one of them had what was a spokesperson, and they was referred to as the Great Bear, right? So it looked like 5 chiefs was running the West Coast, but it was 5 queens, 5 tribal mothers telling them how to move on the land. When they start being attacked, right? Remember, Alcatraz used to have a castle on it before it was a military outpost. The Spanish Armada bombed it into rubble. Walter Disney built a replica of it as the Disney Castle in order for him, because he was a mulatto. He was passing. So he was trying to get the memory activated about the castle before they hijacked Disney with all of the pedophile symbolism and programming.
I, I'm down here, so I don't want to talk too much about Disney, but we know what it is. But at
Yeah,
this point, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The centers and stuff like that, I'll be trying to stay away from all that crazy stuff.
yeah. Walter Disney, I think he was 33-degree Freemason.
I just found out that they're owned by the castle, the crown. They're owned by the crown. That's why when the governor down here was trying to go against them, but you
Mm-hmm.
you said something else. I don't want to lose thought. It said something before. Yo, it's crazy. Like I said, you keep going back to the imposters or the ones that they try to be these people. If this is their culture, why wouldn't they want us to talk about it? Why is it they anybody can talk about it, but they don't want us to talk about these ancient ruins and shit? It's almost like it's robotic the way they get on there and they insult people and try to put them down. I like seeing people put out information and knowledge, especially for the kids being on social media and they seeing the shit now. They got points and shit to where they can go. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing what they're doing with Queen Khalifa, the whole Olmec or Z civilizations, because now you understand what you're supposed to be doing as far as this ain't some shit we just made up or some Sunni shit or pseudo shit. This some shit that motherfucker been doing since the beginning of time. Let
Right.
Leopold.
Let's go back to when you was talking about the idols, right? Those all of those are what we call statuary, bas relief, relics, temple paintings. That's information. That's not worship. That's
They'll
like
tell you
writing
prove
a
it,
book.
right? The same people tell you they'll say prove that them people were this, right? This is from I didn't make this. This is from Mexico when we went down there. It's from Yucatan, and this is
Mm-hmm.
how they made the people that's in Yucatan made their people with the little locks, black girl.